Sometimes, sadness arrives without warning. There is no clear reason, no dramatic event to justify it. It simply appears, silently, like a cloud that darkens the day even though the sky seems clear. It's that weight in your chest you can't explain, that feeling that something is missing even though, in theory, you have everything. And that's when the question strikes, why do I feel this way? Deepak Chopra, doctor, writer, and a leading figure in emotional and spiritual well-being, has dedicated much of his work to exploring these kinds of incomprehensible emotions. According to him, the sadness you don't understand is not a mistake or a weakness, but a signal, a door that opens to show you something your conscious mind has not yet been able to see. This sadness is not the same as the one you feel after a loss or a disappointment. It is more diffuse, more subtle, and therefore more unsettling. It can appear while you're sitting in front of a cup of coffee, at the end of a conversation, in the middle of a walk, or just before going to sleep. And even if you ignore it, it returns. Again and again. Chopra explains that emotions do not arise at random. Each one serves a purpose. Sadness without reason is often the manifestation of something your consciousness is not facing head-on. An unmet need, a change your soul is calling for, a truth you're trying to avoid. You can cover it up with distractions, work, social media, shopping, empty conversations. But at the end of the day, when the external noise fades, it's still there, because the unrecognized sadness is like a messenger who refuses to leave until you read the letter it brings. Chopra insists that the first step is to stop fighting it. Modern culture has taught us to believe that feeling sad is a sign of weakness, something to be hidden or fixed quickly. But in reality, ignoring it only makes it more intense and persistent. According to Chopra, one of the greatest problems of our time is the disconnection from ourselves. We live surrounded by external stimuli pushing us outwards. Goals, expectations, social validation. But the inner voice, the one that knows who you are and what you need, gets buried under layers of noise. The sadness you don't understand is often a sign of this disconnection. Your life may be full of things, but empty of meaning. You may have stability, but no purpose. You may have company, but no deep connection, and your soul feels it. Chopra points out something essential. Emotions are not only felt in the mind, they also lodge themselves in the body. That tightness in your chest, the lump in your throat, the sense of exhaustion without explanation, are often the physical manifestation of unexpressed sadness. When you ignore it, the body starts looking for other ways to show you that something is not right. Recurring aches, sleep problems, lack of energy, all can be part of the same message. Pay attention. The sadness you don't understand is not always clinical depression, but if it continues and you do nothing about it, it can develop into something deeper and harder to manage. Chopra recommends not waiting until it becomes unbearable to act. The key difference is that this sadness often fluctuates. It appears and disappears, changes in intensity, and tends to improve when you connect with something that fulfills you. Depression, on the other hand, is more constant and paralyzing. However, both deserve attention and care. Chopra identifies several common causes behind this invisible sadness. Unacknowledged losses. Not all losses are obvious. You may be mourning a chapter of your life that has ended, an opportunity you let pass, a friendship that faded. Lack of purpose. Living on autopilot disconnects you from what gives your life meaning. Misalignment between values and daily life. When what you do does not reflect what you believe in, an unspoken inner conflict emerges. Accumulated emotional fatigue. Carrying responsibilities, caring for others, and meeting others' expectations without making space for yourself drains you from within. Old wounds left unresolved, traumas and pains from the past that are still alive, even if you think you've overcome them. For Chopra, the first step to moving through this sadness is to listen to it. Ask yourself, honestly, what is this emotion trying to tell me? This means creating moments of silence and presence. You can do this through meditation, writing, or simply dedicating a few minutes each day to sit without distractions and feel. It's not about finding immediate answers, but about creating the space for them to appear. Many people respond to this sadness with self-criticism. I shouldn't feel this way. I must be grateful. I have everything, so I have no right to be sad. Chopra warns that this kind of thinking only increases the disconnection. Self-compassion is key, accepting that feeling sad does not make you weak or ungrateful. It is simply part of the human experience. One of the central points in Chopra's teachings is that life without meaning creates emotional emptiness. When your days are full of tasks but devoid of purpose, the soul notices. This does not mean you must make radical changes overnight, but rather start seeking what connects you. A creative project, a cause you care about, learning something new, a relationship that nurtures you. Chopra underlines that much of today's sadness comes from emotional loneliness, even when we are surrounded by people. It is not about the quantity of relationships, but the quality. Having at least one space where you can be yourself, without masks or roles. Often, sadness fades when we find a safe place to show ourselves as we are. The mind-body connection is one of Chopra's core principles. Eating well, sleeping enough, moving daily, and spending time in nature are simple actions that can reduce sadness without apparent cause. The body is not just the vehicle of the mind, but also its ally. When you take care of it, you create the conditions for emotions to flow rather than stagnate. The sadness you don't understand often lives in two places: in the past you haven't let go of, or in the future you fear. Chopra suggests anchoring yourself in the present as a way to free yourself. This does not mean forgetting the past or stopping your plans, but learning to inhabit the present moment as a refuge. Breathing, observing, being grateful for what is here today. Chopra believes that every difficult emotion carries an opportunity for growth. The sadness you don't understand can be the spark that drives you to know yourself better, to question what you are living, and to align your life with what truly matters. It is not about eliminating it, as if it were a mistake, but about transforming it into a bridge towards a more authentic and fulfilled version of yourself. Practical steps, according to Chopra. Accept the emotion without judgment. Look at your life honestly. Are you living according to your values? Seek moments of silence and meditation. Take care of your body as part of the emotional process. Connect with people and activities that nurture you. Allow yourself to let go of what no longer serves you. Remember that sadness is not an ending, but a transition. The sadness you don't understand is not a mistake to correct. It is a whisper asking to be heard. Deepak Chopra reminds us that if, instead of running from it, we embrace it, it can guide us towards a deeper level of truth and connection with ourselves. And perhaps, when we finally understand it, we will discover that it was never sadness. It was the soul calling us home.